Yo, what's up to all my latchkey kids and movie heads? And it is Sunday, all right. And I'm your host, J Dub, and this is my co-host, Big Brother Al, and we are your movie buffs. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2. Posed the community with a question earlier this week, and we asked them, "What is the best season from your favorite series?" So you guys already know that we have chose to do The Wire. Now listen. We watch a lot of series, but I know for me, probably for you too, Al, like The Wire is probably one of the best, I want to say, written, directed, produced, cast, location
Oh
of
yeah.
a series, extras of a series that I've ever seen, and it's definitely in my top 3. So we definitely want to discuss The Wire today. That is our favorite series, and we're going to discuss our favorite season. But before we get into that, Al, I mean, you tell me. We know culturally, and not even in our culture, just being worldwide, like it is deemed as one of the most top series.
I feel like it's one of the best shows ever. I got it in my top three. I won't discuss what I feel like is better, but it's definitely one of the best shows ever. And that's due to the realism. Like the show is super real. Just about all of the characters, we all know somebody who's just like that, who we can relate to. And even the situations, the things that was going on in the series, because that's kind of like our era. Like right around the time that was happening, we was like right in that age group.
Yeah.
So we either involved in something like that or knew somebody who was involved in it. So it was super real. It was super relatable. And man, it kind of just summed up, the world we was living in, coming from the places that we come from.
So we just don't want to say like, just say, hey, I like this series because, kind of when we talk in our private time, when we kind of judge series and shows, there's a few things that me and Big Brother Al, we kind of base things back, we about kind of base things on when we go back and forth. So one of the things is character development. You know, um, we want to see growth. We want to see growth in a character. If you was just a one season show from episode 1 to episode 10, you want to see that growth. The next thing is plot impact. Like that plot, and we know in some shows it's a plot, subplot, subplot. How much of that impacts how good of the show is? And the next thing we want to always talk about or look at is writing and pacing. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Like y'all just giving us a bunch of malarkey, like just so unbelievable, or like
A 40-degree day.
I know everybody want to know what seasons did we pick. Right, because that's the whole question, right? What is the best season out of the whole series? So Al, I'm gonna let you go first. What's your favorite season? There was 5 seasons of The Wire. Five.
Yeah.
What's your favorite season?
Season three by far is my favorite season. It's not even close.
Now, why is season 3 your favorite season, Al?
Man, there's so many things about it that I love. I love the dynamic between Stringer Bell and Avon. They were, I was finna say was brothers, but they are brothers. But that season kind of tore them apart. I also love the fact that how can I say it? What I love more, I love the dynamic between Avon and Stringer. Also the complexity of Stringer Bell. I think we all know somebody like Stringer, somebody who's in the streets but wants more than that. So I love seeing his growth, and I also love the dog in Avon, where he was what he was, he knew it, and he wasn't really trying to go outside of himself. He was about the street life. He was 100% devoted to being what he was.
I'm just a gangster, I suppose.
Okay, so let me ask you a question real quick. I don't want you to lose your point because I want you to continue. Now, when you talked about Stringer and Avon, 'cause I've been asked this a few times by my homeboy Levi. Like he'll text this like maybe 4 times a year. He just asked this question: Who was the bigger snake between Avon and Stringer? Because we know how season 3 ended, and you saw that from almost from in season 2 coming into season 3, you saw the walls kind of closing in on some of the decision maker and the power struggle. So who was the bigger snake to you in season 3? Since this is your favorite season,
Stringer Bell. Stringer was the biggest snake.
We gonna get all this shit sorted out. And hey, if the shit don't come up right,
The biggest snake. Because, even though it came a point where Avon had to kind of backdoor String, I looked at it as self-defense. If he didn't get String, String was gonna get him. String had already put it in motion, as we know. And I think Avon only really started moving the way he was moving because of what Stringer did and with the whole situation with D.
knew you couldn't do it. Brianna wouldn't do that shit.
He got D knocked off. So I think it came a point where Avon's loyalty to String ran out. And he was kind of forced to, when in Rome, you got to do as the Romans do.
and side note, Donetta, whoever she is, but she get on my damn nerve. D'Angelo wasn't even out the county and she already unzipping
Oh,
Stringer
yeah.
jacket. Fuck Donetta, man. She
Yeah.
bogus, man. I don't like her.
Who the fuck you talking to, man?
It's done that string. She been calling.
No. Put the phone down.
I gotta go now.
Yeah, I mean, I could agree with what you're saying. Just when I watch that, you can tell, like when we talk about a character, right? Like it's almost like you're gonna see something evolve. It's gonna either be progression or regression. And we saw Stringer like he wanted another way out. This thing was like, what necessary steps can we take to still get this money? You know what I mean? And not have the street bullshit that come along with it.
Yeah. Well, we here now. The fact is, we got every mob in town, east side, west side, ready to pull together. Share territory on that good shit that Pop Joe putting out there. We take that shit downtown and we get in a money game that niggas ain't going to jail. I mean, we passed that run and gun shit, man. Like, we finance a package and we ain't got to see nothing but bank. Nothing but cash. No corners, no territory, nothing. We make so much goddamn straight money, man.
Yeah.
And just Avon just still needing, that name. I don't think Avon could let that go.
All right, listen, big man. You about to earn your fucking keep around here right now. You go out, you get Cuddy, and get the best of the rest, and you put a hurting on Marlo. I want my corners.
You know what I love most, too, about season 3? It was entertaining what Stringer was doing, but it wasn't really likable from a loyalty standpoint. What I love
Right.
is
Yeah, you're right.
I thought that he was the smartest person in his circle. But then when he ran up with the politician, they was running circles around him. He was like the dumbest one there.
We touched the right people. Just let me get with them, clear this mess right up.
Get with them.
Yeah, I'm on it, Strain. You got the light bulb franchise, right? That came through. Now,
You talking about 30,000 coming back, man. I'm talking about the $250,000 that you took. Now, you need to call Mr. Goose, Mr. Fawcett, whoever the fuck you gotta call, because I gave you money to run, remember?
You heard what my man said, man. Hey, they go to Golden Goose and it's time to milk that cow. And they was getting that man for everything
Oh
he
man,
was worth. Because
milk was
Clay
good.
Davis, he's been involved with the streets. You saw him involved with the streets in season 1. So he know the street game and he know how to spot a street dude with the money that don't know the hustle as
Yep.
far as on the political aspect.
it ain't like no drug deal, Strain. Hell, man, you don't put your money on the street and have it come right back. It don't work like that.
Oh, it don't, huh?
Yep.
So what was the major plot in season 3 kind of got you hooked?
For that question, the plot that grabbed me the most was kind of like the downfall of the Barksdale organization and the rise of Marlowe.
Gonna have to come back at you. You know it ain't gonna stop at this.
I don't want it to stop. My bark's still weak today. And he ain't working with the ammunition I got.
No doubt you carrying a full clip. But what you gonna do when you sitting at the head of the table? Once you there, you got to hold it down.
Sound like one of them good problems. Yeah.
The emergence of Marlowe was really what got me captivated with season 3 because the boy wasn't playing. He was standing on business. Everybody knew who Avon was. Everybody knew who Stringer was. and the young boy wasn't scared. Like he was with
Didn't
all the
care.
smoke,
He didn't care.
man. He was ready for whatever. And he was welcoming it too. Like they, when they started bucking back a little bit, and when Avon came home and kind of like took the lead on the Marlowe situation because String was trying to play nice to keep the bodies down to keep the money going with the co-op and all that. Avon stepped in. It was war. It was on. Marlowe and his crew, they was ready.
Now, as far as the writing, how does the writing, and the pace in the season through three compares to the other seasons?
I think it was just what I liked so much about that season is that it was nonstop. Like there was a struggle and resistance on every level. We already mentioned what was going on in the streets, but I think they they carried it on every level. The political side, the police side, as well as the street side. Like every time you saw a scene, it was something worth watching happening. So let me know. I told you I like season 3. What was your favorite season of The Wire?
Well, I'm glad you asked there, big brother Al, because a lot of people give me flack for this. Um, a lot of people don't agree, and that just lets me know that they're not truly Wire fans. So the best season for me and my favorite season is season 2.
What?
Yes, bro, season 2. Why don't you like season 2, bro? Just why?
And
Just let me hear it.
that's my least favorite season, bro. And it's boring. It's boring. It's dark. Like even the videography of it, like it's just so dark and dreary, and it seems like it's no real motion or action happening through the entire
And
season.
see, that's the problem that I have with people like you. You overlook how great season 2 is. All right, so first let me say this. We started at the
I'm ready
beginning
to hear.
and we
I really want to be sold on this. Let me
yeah,
hear.
okay, well, yeah, get your checkbook out, Jack. So now we talked earlier about like how the series in whole, how like for us, for our culture, like it just kind of told a story. So when you go to after you come from season 1, your expectations of what you're going to get for season 2 are you think it's just going to be one and the same. But when that series starts, it shows a different culture. And what was so unique about it is if you watch it every episode, you noticed that the struggle that they had in the city, they had this same struggle over here outside the county. You know what
Okay.
I mean? So you had the dock workers, the Sabaka family. Like this guy was trying to help an entire union from struggling.
We used to make shit in this country, build shit. Now we just put our hand in the next guy's pocket.
In the series, like the ports are dry. Work wasn't coming in. This was the only livelihood, you know what I mean, for majority of these men, right? And probably didn't have high educations, and you could see that. And every day they're hoping when they come to work, hoping like, man, hopefully that some come in today so I could punch this clock.
Breaks my fucking heart that there's no future for the Sabakas on the waterfront.
And it just showed a similar struggle from a different culture
Hmm.
that was no different than Wallace and Pooh, you know what I'm saying, running from vacant to vacant, trying to get up in the pit with Bodie to make a few dollars. It
Right.
was no different from Frank, you know what I'm saying, having his nephew Nick help pull his can so they can get some money.
You need to go see the Greek and get a number. He's got one on the way.
Today?
Tomorrow, the Atlantic Light over at North Point.
Money so he can help pay for somebody doctor bill or put some money in this person's pocket. So first that, just the
That's good
cultural
perspective.
flip that they gave us, right?
Okay. Okay. I like that.
Oh yeah, you listening. I got you
I like
tuned
that.
in here. So then once you get through that, you know, you get introduced to the backbone of the trade.
Yes, now. And the FBI cares very about such things.
Right? When you meet the Greeks, you know what I mean? When you meet Spiros, you meet Sergey, you see how they're connected into season one and in the season three, four, and five. And one of the episodes when Ziggy was getting pressed on by Cheese, and we know Cheese is Prop Joe nephew,
Right.
and Nick, he went to Sergey because he wanted some help. You know what I'm saying? To get their shit back from Cheese.
Him we don't know. But the one he calls boss, him we know.
Going to meet Prop Joe. They immediately want to start talking about that thing coming off that boat.
How your people's, dog?
Same. Good.
Hey, you talk to the man about that other thing, right? Because I can get behind that business in a big way.
We'll talk.
Stopped it, took care of the situation. Right there was your introduction to that's where the dope coming from. If we don't show the ports, if we don't show, you know what I mean, like the girls coming over being murdered in a can, that's sex trafficking. We got the other scene where all that dope was on the cubes. You got the dope, then you got the goods with the cameras and all that. They just showed us how all the trade comes into the city. So now we know who the head man is in the dope game. It ain't Prop Joe. It ain't gonna be Marlo. It ain't Avon.
Point taken.
It's the Rushes. You see what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it with a different eye. Like that's what I mean. Like I've seen The Wire, the series, several times, but as far as that season, I skip over it. I might have seen. I didn't really like it, so I wasn't fully engaged in it. Tried to watch it again and just couldn't get into it. But now, after hearing that, I want to go back and rewatch.
But when you look at the characters in season two, from beginning to end, you just see the what's the word I'm looking for? You see the naiveness in the Sabakas on how what they thought was just working with some people for something to make a couple dollars is not harmless, turned into we are the middleman to supplying the entire state. So they really got themselves in a lot of trouble. They kind of put themselves in a situation that they wasn't ready for. Then even with the Greeks, Russians, Serbians, I don't know what they was. I don't think they never really clarified.
My name is not my name. And you? To them, you're only the Greek. And of course, I'm not even Greek.
But we really got to know them. They introduce the brilliance, the secrecy, the structure of how things come in. You
Okay.
know, so those characters, because we still see those characters, you're gonna see the Greek again, you're gonna see Spiro again, you're gonna see Sergey again, you're gonna see them in later seasons, which having them in season two just ties the whole universe together. um it was so many plots inside season two, but of course the main one was the girls. That was the main story. How do
Yeah.
we find out what happened to these girls?
There's young ones. There's like a dozen of them. They're dead?
And then in that came so many subplots. You got Valchek, who has a hard on for the Sabakas over a window at the church. He starts an investigation. That investigation leads them to tying 16 dead girls to drug trafficking. You know, sex trafficking, now we got drug trafficking, all this stuff is coming in,
Right.
and then you got the tension that originally, like that tension of distrust that started with the Barksdale that actually played out in season three. You saw the beginning of that plot. That plot did not start in season three, it started in season two, it just ended in season three. And then you just saw the growth of all the officers too. And man, it's just so much you can say about the writing. For me, like I like a series that's one ending story. If you give me 7 seasons, I need it to be one story from episode one, season one, to season seven, episode 12. Like boom, I just closed that book. And I just feel like the writing in The Wire in itself is just 100. Like
They
it's no season that's wrote wrong.
Yeah, they had to be taking dialogue directly from the stuff that they was hearing and putting it on the script
But
because it was
but you
so.
know half of the extras are from Baltimore.
Oh, okay, yeah, the
Half of
dialect,
the extras, some of the key players, main characters are ex-convicts from Baltimore.
and
They
that's a
really
big,
use the city, man, to
yeah,
bring out that story.
that's a big thing too with series. Like if you say something is here, then the dialect, the style of dress, like the culture has to be that. Like I can't say it how they say it, but the two you all that stuff,
Yeah,
it was
what you gonna
Baltimore.
do?
Was you leave it in the trunk for a while, need to step up and use the bitch. The battery don't.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
like
got to.
I
Now,
don't want to watch a series that's not true. Like I want all the way down to that. I need that type of nuance for something for me to say that I love it.
all right, my movie heads and latchkey kids, man. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2, titled "What is the best season from your favorite series?" Listen, if you have not seen The Wire, please go back, or please go and watch it. And if that's one of your favorites, go back and rewatch it and come tap in with us and let's talk about it. All right, guys, holla.
Peace.
Yeah, Al, you definitely need to go watch season
I'm
2.
definitely
Matter of fact, go watch that now. As soon as we get off of this video, you need to go watch 2.
Yeah, you embarrassed me, man. I gotta go watch it.